I was watching a video the other day by a very clever guy, and I think the company he worked for was, I thought it was called Outlaw or something. Anyway, it's Cut and Crown, and he makes, he's invented and made some jigs for cutting crown moulding. It's not something we do, and but that's what this saw is designed for. After watching a bit of film, I realised that I've had this saw for 15 years. I had no idea that that's principally what it was for. It's a 12-inch double compound sliding mitre saw. That's its full title. It's single phase, so it's over here in the UK that's 240 volts. It's heavy, a big capacity mitre saw, and we use it in building restoration and general carpentry and joinery. Now in the workshop here, it gets less use than it used to when it was out on site, and it's quite a big thing to lug around, and I never really move site very often. We're usually in much the same place, so it came home to roost here in the workshop, and here it's been ever since, and is probably likely to stay here. Mitre saws are versatile, and if you haven't got one, you're thinking of getting one, this is just a short video to give you a couple of hints about why you might consider some saws over others. So first of all, it's 12-inch blade on this one, and that's I think about as big as they get. It slides forwards and backwards like this. Needs a bit of oil by the look of it. And its capacity on the crosscut there is about 12 inches. It's pretty big capacity. Double compound means if you lift that paddle, you can cut an angle like that, and similarly, and it's got it in the other direction. So double compound, one compound, two. When you put it back to its vertical position, it's always as well to measure them. This doesn't have a detent point on that particular mechanism. It's got plenty of detent points here. Here's your 15 degrees, 22.5 degrees, 30 degrees, 45. And this one will go from 55 degrees on that side to 60 degrees here. This is the motor in here. So the motor does not stick out on the side here, which sometimes limits your ability to cut with the saw over in this direction here, and because it's going to foul either the fence or this because the motor's sticking out. That's quite a consideration really, if you can do a lot of complex cutting work and complex compound angles. And incidentally, coming back to the people I was talking about with the crown moulding service, he has developed some jigs to make it possible for you to cut crown mouldings without having to turn your brain inside out and back to front, and that is less of a task with a double compound mitre saw because you've got double the options on angle cutting. But if you've got a single compound mitre saw, one that will only tilt in one direction, then you do actually have to do some mental gymnastics to do the kind of cuts that you're going to end up having to do when you're mitring stuff and so on. The principal work that we do is building restoration work, and for that there are very few given angles, and although I bought various angle finding bevels and so on in the past, I find that if you're doing that kind of work, the most useful thing you can have on a mitre saw is a laser. And this one hasn't got one. What it has got is an angle finder, and that's when I watched that cut and crown film, I thought that's what this saw's for. It's for cutting crown moulding principally, and the angle finder's there to help you do that. These guys, however, in that company will give you a lot more than that, and if that's the sort of thing you're doing all the time, you should look them up and find them. A really clever accessories to fit on your existing mitre saw to enable you to do some complex compound mitre joints. This has also got a couple of lights that are supposed to illuminate the workpiece, but they don't, like the DeWalt's do, cast a shadow to show you where the blade's going to fall. That doesn't happen with this saw. This saw is not going to assist you. You've got to line that up by eye and or by the angle finder in order to find out exactly where your cut's going. And that is the reason that if I went back 15 years and I was buying a big mitre saw, I would not have bought this one. I shouldn't have done. I knew better. My first saw had a laser on it. I found it absolutely indispensable. It was only a single compound mitre saw made by SIP, and it was almost bomb-proof. I went through loads of blades on it, and it was the cheapest one I've ever bought and the most industrial and trouble-free one. Come to that. Let's have a look at the other one, because the smaller Milwaukee saw does have a laser on it, and it's just worth taking a look at. I've actually really replaced the mitre saw with that as a dimensioning saw. I've always had a circular saw, but never had a good one. And this is a Wadkin saw that's been converted to single phase, and I use that with a sled on it quite a lot. This is the other smaller Milwaukee mitre saw, and again, you know, I didn't realise when I bought it. I thought this would be quite useful for joinery, but it isn't. And the reason for it is pretty obvious. You have two slides on this, but they go up and down on that hinge point at the end, so it does not cut parallel. So if you want to chop out housing joints or bridle joints or anything like that, or you know, stairwell grooves or whatever, you won't be doing it on one of these. And this one also has the motor stuck out the side of it, like a lot of them do, and that can be an impediment. On the plus side, this saw has a laser, and there it is on my sleeve, and which I think is indispensable in building restoration work at any rate, and any old stuff. And if you're always working with a bit of an unknown, a laser is really helpful. And the blade in this, which is I think made by Milwaukee, or it's got their name on it, is very nice. A very nice fine cut. You go from 50 to 50 degrees on this one, but it's only got one. It only tilts to one side, and so it's back to 0 there, and then you've got an angle on the other side. So you've got a single compound mitre saw with this, and its cross-cutting is done without adjustment. You can't set that to cut to a certain depth for obvious reasons. That it's in the mechanism, and the rails are going back into the headstock. Okay, so there's just a few variables and options on the compound sliding mitre saw. Like and subscribe to the channel, guys. I hope that's helpful, and perhaps we'll see you in the next one.